We're extra excited for Have Sword Will Travel because this is our first monthly series.
It is, and finally we're able to bring Asian films throughout the year. We usually focus on, we start working very early on, as early as the fall, to select films for the New York Asian Film Festival. And this idea has been gestating for quite a while.
Right, I mean, swordsman is a natural idea. It's like the heroes in westerns with guns. Your swordsmen are all throughout the vintage cinema of Hong Kong and Japan.
Right, and it's sort of an expansion of what we did for the Old School Kung Fu Fest in some sense. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, it's really interesting because our last Old School Kung Fu Festival was the Wonder Woman of the martial arts, and for example, we had 3 films by King Hu, who was a big champion of women figures.
Right.
You know, his men were often defeat scholars while the women were really wearing the pants, so to speak. King Hu and Zhang Zhi were important directors that revolutionized the wuxia genre in the 60s. They really made it fresh and made it new, and it took over Hong Kong cinema then. Zhang Zhi, on the other hand, more and more as you go on, his films are all about men. He kind of invented the heroic bloodshed, the machismo that is associated with the genre, so to speak.
Right, and Zhang Zhi was everyone's master. He was
right.
So we're starting this monthly series with the One-Armed Swordsman. It's really the game changer of wuxia cinema. It's the first time you start talking about kung fu films in the modern sense of the word.
When Sam Peckinpah made The Wild Bunch and had all this crazy editing, but so much violence, it's sort of like what Zhang Zhi did with One-Armed Swordsman. He had made wuxia before this, but with this one, it was like ultra-violence all of a sudden, and the burgeoning ideas of the machismo and the brotherhood and loyalty and so forth. One-Armed Swordsman it made a star out of Jimmy Wang Yu.
Yeah, so Wang Yu is, it was our Lifetime Achievement awardee a few years back.
Right.
Very interesting character. He was a bit of a brawler, did a lot of things. His training was not in martial arts. He was more of an athlete. He did a lot of things other than martial arts, but he had the charisma, the personality, and the One-Armed Swordsman is truly the film that brought him fame. So we decided to start with these 2 films because they do represent a turning point. They're the beginning of something. If you go online, you read reviews, you see a lot of stuff about the ultra-violence of the film. It's all very relative. I mean, it's a 1960s film, but you have to understand the film in the context when it was produced. It brought a whole bunch of new elements to the game, the choreography, the way the characters interact, the masculinity, the machismo. That was a new thing. I mean, by today's standards, it's a bit, again, it might be a bit tame, but it's really fascinating if you put it in the context of the history of action cinema. That's when it really takes significance. And the character became so popular that it generated a whole strain, a whole lineage of stories featuring crippled martial artists and warriors.
Well, it's really interesting you mention that because around that time, before these breakout films, Zatoichi, another very important sword hero in cinema mythology, the blind swordsman from Japanese cinema, was really popular in Hong Kong. And then when these films came out, wuxia, the floodgates were open, and the genre, took over. And as you were saying, the One-Armed Swordsman did become a franchise of sorts because we're also showing with this, we're double featuring it with the new One-Armed Swordsman. Also,
the third in the trilogy.
Which is also directed by Zhang Zhi, but it stars David Chang, and it's not a sequel so much as
it's a reboot.
It's a reboot.
At the time, no one talked about the reboots. It's a very modern term, but it's literally a reboot. It's a new One-Armed Swordsman. It's a completely different guy, very different personality, totally different from the what's his name, Fang Gong character.
Oh, Fang Gong, right?
Yeah,
right. And even at some point they pitted the One-Armed Swordsman against Zatoichi. There was the One-Armed Swordsman beat
That was
Zatoichi.
further down the line, but yeah.
So speaking of Zatoichi, again. our next installment is going to be another double feature. I think we're all going to be all double features, right?
We're going to do mostly double features. We're kind of building it up as we go. I mean, there's a lot of titles to choose from. I think it makes sense to start the year with these two Japanese films in January. So we have one of the Zatoichi movies.
One of the best ones.
One of the best ones. I mean, I really think that the first five are the top in the series. I mean, there's a couple of installments that really stand out. Well, you find out what title it is. And we'll do one of the Lone Wolf and Cub films. I mean, it's been...
That's a great combination. And also, those two actors were brothers.
They were brothers. They were brothers. So it makes sense to see the kind of... again, I think it has to do with the representation of masculine figures in action cinema. Right. It's an interesting topic to explore as well on another level. And these are immensely fun films as well. I mean, we both watched the Zatoichi films multiple times. You've seen all 26?
I think so. It's I kind
There's
of
26 films in the Zatoichi series and 100-something episode TV show.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of the TV shows too.
That's the iconic role for Katsushin Taro.
And so now the double feature, it's what is it? $15 to see one movie and $20 to see both?
20 for the double feature if you want to see both films, and 15 if you're only interested in one. So obviously you're encouraged to watch both films. I think these are important films to watch on the big screen. Quad Cinema is back in the city, so it's also exciting to be back there. Yeah. I really like that we're part of the renaissance of the art house theater scene in New York.
But film culture is super alive right now. We have so many new art houses.
Good. There's a lot of places to go, and and a lot of them are downtown, so you can always grab a drink.
So you go to the Quad, double feature, and you can take a break at the bar in the Quad. Yeah,
we'll do something special on the night as well. So.
Yes. So, December 16th at the Quad, 7:15, $15 for one movie, 20 for both. The second movie starts, what, 9 o'clock? No, that doesn't make sense.
9:20 or something.
Right,
we need to get our schedule straight. It starts at 7:15.
7:15 is One-Armed Swordsman, and the one around 9:20 or so is the new One-Armed Swordsman.
Man.
See you there.
Not the old. See you there.